Welcome in those of you watching round 3 of the Farmers Insurance Open on CBS and streaming live on Paramount Plus here on CBS Sports HQ. The coverage continues. You saw this play. What a shot this was from Harris English. His approach on 18. Oh, a beauty. Snuggles it up nice and close. He would tap that in for birdie to finish his round with 3 straight birdies and atop the leaderboard at 9 under par, navigating his way to the top of the leaderboard, looking to win for the 5th time in his PGA Tour career. He last won in 2021 in Cromwell, Connecticut after a lengthy playoff, an 8-hole playoff with Kramer Hickok. It was Harris English in the dark in Connecticut winning that one. Can he pull it off here in San Diego? He's got a 1-shot lead on Andrew Novak, who's chasing his first PGA Tour victory. And then you got the 20-year-old who perhaps you've never heard of, the South African Aldrich Potgieter. He holed out for eagle on 12 from 173 yards out, and he is just 2 shots back in his 9th PGA Tour start. Of course, he's chasing his first victory. And we've got a decent chase pack here. Ludwig Åberg, 2 over 74 in round 3, but he's only 5 shots off the pace, not feeling very well when he woke up on Friday, so perhaps gets a nice, good sleep, and he'll be ready to go on Saturday. And for more, welcome in CBS Sports golf writer Patrick McDonald. Harris English navigating his way to the top of the leaderboard. He birdied his final 3 holes to take a 1-shot lead. His only blemish on his card was a bogey on 11. And Patrick, his approach on 18 was about as good as it gets to close out a 6 under 66, put him at 9 under through 3 rounds. What stood out to you about his round that he put together?
It was that approach play, Hakeem. You look at Harris English, he is really known for his short game. He has great hands around the greens. He's a tremendous putter, but really ever since that labrum surgery he had in 2022, off the tee play has been a little sloppy, and the approach play hasn't reached that peak of 2021 when he was nominated for the PGA Tour Player of the Year. And you look at that back 9 specifically, he gained over 3.5 strokes on approach. The shot into 16, the par 3 was a beauty. The wedge into 17 and the wedge into 18. Again, that 3.5 strokes that he gained on the back 9, that would have been just slightly worse than his best tournament performance in 2024, the PGA Championship. So if Harris English can keep up that approach play on Saturday, he's going to be a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, Harris English looking for his 5th PGA Tour victory, first since winning in a playoff at the Travelers in 2021. He was a runner-up here at this event in 2015. He's been playing this event since 2012, so he knows the course well. We know how tough this South course can be. When you look at Andrew Novak, who's just now 1 shot back, chasing his first PGA Tour victory, brilliant chip in on 13, a critical par save on 15, which I feel like a lot of times we don't talk about some of these par saves in these rounds. And then, of course, he closed out his round with a birdie on 18. But just being able to save par in some of these spots really saves you when you're going to that final round, Patrick.
It does, and it seems like this guy really loves the grind, Hakeem. He talked afterwards about how he loves the harder golf courses. He loves those tournaments where you don't have to shoot 20, 25 under to win the golf tournament. And Novak should be comfortable in this final pairing. He's see it just like Harris English. They see each other around the property time and time again. So I really like the well-rounded nature of Novak's game. He's a very good iron player, and we saw late on Friday how good of a putter he can be. Not only that par save, but that 20-foot birdie putt there on 18 as well. So he lost a few drives out to the right late, and he was able to recover effectively. I think if he can keep up that recovering ability there tomorrow, he should have a great chance to chase down English and chase down his first PGA Tour title.
Let's talk about the 20-year-old South African, Aldrich Potgieter, making his 9th PGA Tour start. He holed out for eagle on 12 from 173 yards out using an 8-iron, which is, I don't know. And this is why you and I are sitting here talking about golf, and these guys are the professionals. This guy's 20 years old, certainly a top here as you talk about the chase pack. We know Ludwig Åberg is in the chase pack as well, a 2 over 74. He's 5 shots back. But for people that may not know who this kid is, Potgieter, who is this kid, Patrick?
It's absolutely ridiculous, Hakeem. I swear we blink our eyes and there's another 20-year-old threatening to win on the PGA Tour. It seems like it happens every single week, but this kid has been a stud for a long time, which doesn't make much sense coming out of my mouth when we consider he's only 20 years old. But he won the British Amateur there. He was in contention there on the DP World Tour at the Nedbank Challenge in December this past winter. Nearly won that as well. Won on the Corn Ferry Tour in the Bahamas last year too. So he's won at every single level, and it seems like he's well on his way to winning on the PGA Tour. We mentioned that length. He is long. He is longer than long. Excuse me. You have Keith Mitchell. You have Rory McIlroy. You have Bryson DeChambeau. He's longer than all of them. It's absolutely ridiculous for a kid his age, and that plays at Torrey Pines. If you're missing fairways, well, guess what? You're still long. You're probably in the trampled down areas, and that length really matters when you're approaching these greens. We don't really think about it in that perspective, where an 8-iron out of the rough is much better than a 6-iron out of the rough. It lands much softer on these firm greens. So he's plenty long. It's going to be a great experience for the kid in the penultimate group, and I can't wait to watch.
Much more ahead here with Patrick McDonald on CBS Sports HQ. As you take a look at the leaderboard, Harris English with a one-shot lead going into our final round on Saturday in La Jolla at Torrey Pines. And let's get right to the site. Welcoming Masters champion and CBS Sports lead golf analyst Trevor Immelman. Trevor, good evening to you. Harris English navigating his way to the top of the leaderboard. He was brilliant there on 18. The approach shot was about as good as it gets to close out 3 straight birdies. How was he able to navigate his way to the top of the leaderboard here on Friday?
Yeah, he really did play some brilliant golf, particularly, like you say, in those last 3 holes. And I put it down to not just great ball striking, but good putting as well. We saw some players really struggle, even though there wasn't too much wind, struggle on the Poana greens. But I really do go back to the 15th hole, where he was out of position off of the tee in the thick rough, and he made about a 20-footer up the hill to save par. And a lot of times, that's the thing that spurs you on. And right after that, then he finishes with the 3 birdies. It was impressive stuff from him to go out there and shoot that 66. And be a big day for him tomorrow, trying to get that 5th win on the PGA Tour. The last couple of years have been a bit of a struggle after he had to have some hip surgery. So good to see him back in top form.
Yeah, and right behind him is Andrew Novak chasing his first PGA Tour victories. 1 shot back going to the final round. A brilliant chip on 13 for birdie, then a critical par save on 15, as you saw, and then closed out his round with a birdie on 18. Here's a guy that perhaps a lot of people don't know about. What did you appreciate about his game and his round here in round 3?
Well, he's continued some good play, really, from last year. Last year was actually his best season on tour. He finished 68th in the FedEx Cup standings and had 5 top 10s. So slowly but surely, he started to prove to himself that he does have what it takes to play out here consistently at the highest level. And today, he seemed to play with a lot of confidence. And even post-round, when he spoke to Amanda, he seemed like he was real comfortable with the situation that he's in. And to be able to go out there on a very, very difficult golf course and be bogey-free, there were just 2 rounds today that were bogey-free out there, was impressive stuff from him. But he'll be feeling a little extra heat, you know, especially if you compare that with a guy with Harris English's pedigree. You know, Novak trying to get his first win on the PGA Tour tomorrow. So there'll be some extra nerves going with that.
Yeah, 13 players within 5 shots of the lead, including the leader coming in, Ludwig Oberg, who went the wrong way on moving day. The South course giving him fits. He's not feeling well. Shoots a 2 over 74 a day after shooting a 3 over 75. Look, you played on the PGA Tour for a long time, played professional golf for a long time, and there's times when you're not feeling well, but you're still in the mix. How do you handle that as a professional?
Yeah, the last couple of days have been tough for him. Look, yesterday, 75, I put down to the weather. I mean, it was brutal out here, and the average score was actually 75.5. So he kind of hung in there after a brilliant first round, but today he just seemed way out of sorts. Even before the round in the warm-up, he didn't look well. He didn't look comfortable. He looked like he was lacking energy, and he actually spent the majority of the warm-up sitting down on a bench. And when he was out there, you could just see he wasn't feeling it. And it's a tough spot to be in. But, you know, as an athlete, you grind it out. You just try and make it to tomorrow without too much damage, hoping that you're still within striking distance. And I think he did that. The birdie on 18 was critical. So now 5 behind. And he has the firepower. If he gets a good night's rest and starts to feel better in the morning, the way he's played the par 5s this week, he's 9 under on the 5s. He can get off to a hot start and still do some damage. But it was tough to see him struggle out there today. He's such a talented player, so much upside. But, you know, that's life. It is what it is.
Trevor, I'm appreciative that our paths have crossed once again, and I know you're not going to remember this, and I'm not going to be upset that you don't. I was a young broadcaster in Washington, D.C. You were playing congressional at the U.S. Open, and you granted me some time for a one-on-one interview. I put a story together about you, and I always appreciate your candor, your expertise, and your professionalism that you've had during both your playing career and your broadcast career here on CBS. We appreciate you taking time for us here on HQ.
Well, I so appreciate you saying that. I feel like I got the best job in the world, so I'm having a blast. Thank you.
Great stuff there from Trevor Immelman on the broadcast, our lead analyst on CBS, the first of 19 tournaments that will be broadcast on CBS this year, America's most watched network, the network of stars. As you take a look at the leaderboard going into our final round on Saturday, Harris English with a one-shot lead, chasing his 5th PGA Tour victory.